Oh my god, the England World Cup squad's been announced. The England World Cup squad's been announced. Oh my god, the England World Cup squad's been announced. Hello and welcome to the first From the Off vlog. A brand new women's football vlog with me, Steph Fairbairn. What better topic to host the first vlog on than the newly announced England women's football squad for the World Cup in France. I'm going to talk a bit about the squad, who's in, who's not, what it looks like, and what the tournament's going to look like for England. But I just wanted to start with a quick chat about the announcement, or I should actually say announcements. If you haven't seen them, it was a series of 23 announcements, 23 players, so one announcement each, across social media. It started the night before, so the announcement was yesterday. The night before, there was a video that went out on the Lioness's social media accounts, quite blurry, hashtag #BeReady. And then yesterday morning, the announcements came. So the first one was Prince William, a video of him announcing captain Steph Houghton. And then it went on like that, so one for each player, different celebrities, sports stars, royalty obviously, and announcing those players that are going to be on the plane, or the Eurostar if they choose to take it. I imagine they're taking a plane to France next month for the FIFA Women's World Cup. Obviously everyone's talking about the announcements. If you haven't seen them, go and have a look at least a few. I'm going to talk through in a minute who did the announcements and for which players. But it's gained a lot of traction, and it's getting some really positive feedback, which in my opinion is quite right. So by doing it this way, they've really kept people interested. I remember, so yesterday morning, I hadn't seen the #BeReady thing. And then yesterday morning I was on the train to work, and I saw the Prince William announcement with Steph Houghton, and I was like, whoa, this is cool, we're doing something pretty special for our captain. And then the Tony Duggan one came, which was by Greg James, and then I thought, oh, we're doing this for all the players, this is awesome. So I set an alert for Instagram to let me know when they were putting a new one up. And it was just really exciting to kind of wait for, okay, which player it's going to be, who's going to announce them, how they're going to do the announcement. And I was just thinking, like, imagine if you're a player that's going to the World Cup. Obviously, you know you're going. They were told, Phil Neville told the players that were going and that weren't going, obviously, the day before. You know you're going, but then you're waiting for this announcement, like who's going to announce me. It just kind of adds to the excitement. And then for viewers, for football fans, it really just, yeah, it kind of builds that excitement. Obviously, it spreads the game to a wider audience. I mean, we've got people like Emma Watson, Hermione from Harry Potter. The kind of following that she's got is massive. So for people to be logging into their Twitter or Instagram and seeing these messages from people like Emma Watson, we had massive football stars, you know, David Beckham, Raheem Sterling, so people that enjoy the men's game, people that enjoy all kinds of different things, to have, you know, this exposure to women's football is really important and really impressive. Most of the feedback's been quite positive like that. I have heard a bit, I spoke to a woman at work who said, you know, is it a bit patronising? We don't do that for the men's team. Are we kind of trying too hard for the women's team? Are we saying, you know, patting them on the back, well done? Some people asking if it was a bit gimmicky, but I think overall it's been a very positive reaction. I think it's going to be talked about for a long time to come, that kind of announcement. I don't know how they'll top that in the future, to be honest. And, you know, Phil Neville spoke about it, and he said, you know, I wanted each player to have their own special moment. Neville himself never made it to a World Cup. He knew what it was like kind of missing out, so he's obviously got the empathy for those players that missed out, but he also knew what it was like to really want to go, so he wanted those girls to celebrate that moment, and he also wanted to make the team visible. And, you know, if those are his two aims, I think he's hit them pretty well. Overall, I think it was an awesome campaign, and they've already started to follow that up with the kind of, we've been here before but this time it's different videos. The Be Ready hashtag, I think, is going to continue until the World Cup. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they build on what was such a strong start, to kind of, I guess we want to call it the marketing for the campaign, which is obviously massively important in the women's game. I'm so excited to see that, and I'm so excited to see the effect that it has on younger girls who are playing the game, and younger boys, of course, who love to play football. Okay, so we have spoken about the announcements. Go have a look at them if you haven't already. Now let's talk about the squad and who is in it. I'm gonna go in order of the announcements. I've got no idea why that was the order that they went in. I mean, I get why Steph Houghton was first. After that, I'm not really sure, but we'll just go with it. So yeah, first announcement made by Prince William was for captain Steph Houghton, Man City captain, England captain, 104 caps, third World Cup should be going to, second as captain. First name out, I'm sure first name Phil Neville picked. Steph Houghton is, first of all, a fantastic player. She's strong, she's great in the tackle, she can bring the ball out of the back, she can spot a pass, her set pieces are excellent, but also the leader of the team. She leads by example, she sets very, very high standards, she's got so much respect within the squad. Obviously her dream to come home with the trophy, to go and lift the World Cup, and I think we're all rooting for her on that one. Second announcement was Toni Duggan, who was announced by Greg James. Duggan is now playing in Barcelona. She made her England debut in 2012. Since then she's played 71 games, 22 goals to her name. Great striker, pacey, tenacious, never say die kind of player. Takes a great penalty. Yeah, gonna do a great job at the World Cup. And you know, second World Cup, last time she was a newbie, this time she's a bit more experienced. I think she'll be ready to go. The next announcement was Jade Moore, who was announced by Dan Walker. Like Duggan, this will be Moore's second World Cup. The Reading midfielders played 45 games with 1 goal. Box-to-box midfielder, loves a challenge, can set play up. She's really, really high energy midfielder, that has the ability to change a game. The next announcement, Carly Telford by Nicole Holliday. This will be Carly Telford's third World Cup, not consecutive though. I think she went last World Cup, probably not the one before, but the one prior to that. There was a lot of talk in the press last World Cup 2015, about how Telford was the only player not to play a minute. So I think we're all kind of hoping she gets to get some minutes out in France this time. But if you look at all, you know, what the squad said around that, when people are saying, you know, Telford's the only player not to play a minute, the squad are saying, yeah, but she's the one behind the scenes who's, you know, being there to chat to, who's making people drinks, he's doing all of these important things, and she played such a massive role, and they all said they couldn't have got that bronze medal without her. So I'm really hoping that she does more of that and gets a chance to get a few minutes in this time round. The next announcement was Ellen White by James Corden. It's actually Ellen White's birthday today. She is 30. The Birmingham City striker is the next in line to hit 100 caps. She's got 80 caps at the minute. Clinical finisher, really great at just hanging on the last man and kind of dropping off. And you know, when Ellen White's in front of goal, you'd definitely bet on her getting it in the back of the net. So I think she's going to be a really important player for England. And happy birthday. The next announcement was Lucy Bronze, from right back to right back. She was announced by Alex Scott. Lucy Bronze, currently playing at Lyon, has won the championship with them this year, just won the French Cup, is hoping to win the Champions League with them. Obviously won massive honours at Man City before she moved on. She's got 67 caps to her name, 7 goals. typically a right back, can play anywhere. Phil Neville's deployed her in the centre of midfield recently because, you know, she's fast, she's powerful, she's strong, very, very technically gifted player. Phil Neville's come out and said, you know, she's the best player in the world, and you'd be hard pushed to argue with that. I think I actually used to play against Lucy Bronze when I was younger. We were at different schools, but our schools were in the same league, so I play against her at football and hockey. Maybe from the age of about 12 to 16. I didn't know she was called Lucy Bronze at the time. I just knew, God, there's this awesome player on that team. It would always be like, oh God, are we playing that team with her on? Because she was just so good, and you just knew you didn't stand a chance. And we knew that she was in the England setup, the England girls setup. She was just, even back then, strong, powerful, just a cut above absolutely everyone else. And, you know, game face from the start. I've never seen anyone want to win anything like I saw her want to win those games, or, you know, the drive, the passion. So it's really good to see her, you know, doing so well and being at the absolute top of the women's game. And I think if we're talking about, you know, importance of Phil Neville, I think after Steph Houghton, Lucy Bronze would have been the second name on that team sheet, and I think she's going to be massively important for England at the World Cup. There's another fullback announced after Bronze. Emma Watson announced Demi Stokes. Stokes is the Man City left back. Even though she's actually got 50 caps, this will be her first World Cup. So very experienced, just not experienced on the biggest stage yet. Again, powerful, strong, can bring the ball forward. Really, really accomplished fullback, and I think she'll do a great job. The next announcement was Rachel Daly from Houston Dash. She was announced by Anne-Marie, the singer. This is great to see Rachel Daly making it to a World Cup. She's 27 years old. She's been involved on the England scene on and off. I think she was told she wouldn't play again, and then Phil Neville came in, saw what she was doing, picked her. Obviously, she's a very versatile player. You know, she's in as a defender. She plays fullback. She can play up front, get some goals. I think Neville, as Mr. Versatile, probably admires and appreciates her versatility. So to see her going to a World Cup when I think she thought she might never get there is awesome. And I think she's going to be a really important player for England, just slotting in where they need her. And it's good to see that her versatility is working in her favour. Following that, Ollie Murs announced Alex Greenwood. We seem to be on a bit of a fullback role. Greenwood is the captain of Man United and just got promoted with them. Man United will be playing in the Women's Super League next year. Very, very strong left back. Wonderful set pieces. I think to have her and Steph Houghton on your team as set piece options is going to be pretty dangerous, and could definitely get us some goals. I think last World Cup she was the youngest in the squad, so obviously now she's a bit more mature, and hopefully she'll get some minutes. I think it'll be a battle between her and Stokes. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top for that kind of starting left back spot, but both of them could do a brilliant job. And then Kira Walsh was announced by DJ Monkey. If you're going to watch any of the announcements, I'd watch this one. DJ Monkey really stepped up for Kira Walsh's announcement. Walsh is the Man City midfielder. She's got 14 caps to her name, only 22 years old. We'll talk a bit in a minute about who wasn't selected. One of those players was Farrah Williams. I think if you're looking at the squad for someone who's kind of, you know, Farrah Williams-esque, you're probably looking at Kira Walsh. You know, that kind of very, very strong box-to-box midfielder. And I think Williams actually used to coach her at some point earlier on in her career. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what Kira Walsh can create, and hoping she can get her first goal at the World Cup. The next announcement was Fran Kirby, the mini Messi. She was announced by Ellie Goulding. You just get a smile on your face talking about Fran Kirby. Just watching her play football is such a joy. I'm so excited to see her go out and see what mayhem she causes at the World Cup. Plays kind of number 10 role, can play striker, gets a lot of goals. She's got 12 goals and 37 appearances for England. 2018 PFA Player of the Year, and her attitude is just infectious. Clearly loves the game, and watching her watching Fran Kirby is so much fun. So I reckon she is gonna cause a lot of trouble at the World Cup. The next announcement was one number 7 to another. David Beckham announced Nikita Paris in the squad. Paris was the top scorer in qualifying. She got 6 goals. So I'm sure she's looking to kind of carry on with that run and maybe even go for top scorer at the World Cup. Very, very fast, loves beating an offside trap, hangs off the last defender, very skilled. I think she will probably be a starter, and I think she's going to get us a lot of valuable goals. Karen Bardsley was then announced by Jordan Pickford. Karen Bardsley, she is the oldest in the squad at 34. She is looking to be the number 1 goalkeeper for the 3rd World Cup in a row. So 2015 she was first choice. 2011 she was first choice. I think she just nudged Rachel Brown-Finnis, or Rachel Brown as she was back then, out from between the sticks, and she's hoping to make it a 3rd World Cup in a row. Very, very experienced. Obviously won the FA Cup with Man City at the weekend. Tall, great reflexes, great distribution. I think a very safe pair of hands between the sticks there. And then we had Millie Bright, who was announced by Jamal Edwards. Millie Bright didn't make the She Believes Cup. She was injured. So I think there was some talk about, is she going to come back in for the World Cup? I don't think there was any doubt. I think Phil Neville wanted to take her. She started 14 games in the centre of defence with Steph Houghton, and from that they've got 9 clean sheets. So I would bet on that being the main centre-back pairing at the World Cup. Millie Bright is strong, she's fierce. She's also writing a column for the BBC and will continue to do so throughout the World Cup, so that is definitely worth a read. And then Nick Bright announced Jill Scott, who will be going to her 4th World Cup. Scott has 134 caps and 20 goals. Big game player, lots and lots of passion, loves getting stuck in, gets the odd card, but just because she's, putting her body about a bit, blocking, tackling, and, creates things. She really steps up when you need her, and I think she'll chip in with some vital goals and assists. And she's also, I love watching Jill Scott play as well, just the drive, and as all these girls do, you can really tell that she really, really loves the game. The next announcement was, from one experienced player to another, to another actually. Rachel Yankee and her daughter announced Karen Carney. So Karen Carney is the most experienced player, most capped player going out to the World Cup for England. She's got 138 caps and 31 goals, which also makes her the top scorer in the squad. Like Scott, this will be her 4th World Cup. Karen Carney's a magician. Winger, can also slot into the number 10 role. Trickery, whips a great ball in, and I think she, her mix of kind of experience and skill is going to be really valuable to England and France. The next announcement was Abby McManus, who was announced by Katarina Johnson-Thompson, Man City centre-back, made her England debut in 2018. I think she's actually the longest serving Man City women's player, so been there since 2009, I think, so before all of the investment. Obviously plays there with Steph Houghton, often a centre-back pairing there, so she's, stepping up, ready to work with her captain a bit more at international level. And then we've got Georgia Stanway, the youngest in the squad, 20 years old. She was announced by Raheem Sterling. Again, saw her in the weekend in the FA Cup final. You probably also saw that tweet. She tweeted that a few years ago she'd been at a game and she'd got a picture with Steph Houghton afterwards, and now here she was in the FA Cup final with her, and now here she is going to the World Cup finals with her and with England. Great achievement, and she's fresh, she's eager, she's just got that something special. Ian Wright then announced Leah Williamson, the 22-year-old Arsenal centre-back, just won the title with Arsenal. Very, very solid defender, tall, great in the air, will do a great job if and when called upon. And then Kelly Smith announced Beth Mead to the squad. Mead was a striker, now tends to play more wide attacking role at Arsenal with Williamson, therefore just won the Super League. Mead has actually scored when she was at Sunderland 77 goals in 78 games, which is a pretty impressive achievement. She's got 12 caps, 5 goals for the Lionesses, and just kind of brings something different to the attack. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she can create out in France. And then Alan Shearer stepped up. I'll tell you now, I'm a Geordie. I'm a massive Newcastle United fan, so it's great to see Shearer getting involved to announce Lucy Staniforth as the next member of the squad. Birmingham City midfielder. Only made her full debut in the qualifiers towards the end of last year, I think against Kazakhstan, scored in her full debut, energetic, great passer of the ball, brilliant to see her going to the World Cup. Second last announcement was the third goalkeeper, that was Mary Earps, who was announced by Clara Amfo. Earps playing at Wolfsburg at the minute. 5 caps to her name, makes her the least experienced member of the squad, but a very, very capable goalkeeper who will be hopefully get some minutes out there. And the final announcement was Jodie Taylor, who was announced by Chelsea Grimes, the Seattle Reign striker. She's 32 now. She actually didn't make her England debut till she was 28, but she's really making up for lost time. 17 goals in 42 appearances. Clinical finisher in the box, outside of the box, and I think is just if Jodie Taylor's in the middle, you're pretty sure we're in with a chance. So those are the 23 that are going to France. Let's talk a bit about who was left out. Phil Neville's been in charge for about 16 months now, and in that time he's chosen 36 players. He's called 36 players up to his squad. Obviously here he could only take 23, therefore he's had to let 13 down. Some of those I think we're expecting it, but there's a few key names that we should just pick up on. Izzy Christensen, midfielder, Lyon, injured at the She Believes Cup, I think in the final against Japan, came out and said, I thought my World Cup dream was over, got herself fit again, got herself, available to be selected, and just didn't make it. I think it was just about, what we've got in centre midfield there, with Jade Moore, Jill Scott, Lucy Staniforth, so many powerful, talented midfield players. And I think just, the timing of the injury worked against Christensen. Just didn't get a chance to prove herself, I guess, before she goes. But, she's 27 years old, and I'm sure she'll be involved in future big tournaments with England. The next name is Ellie Roebuck, the 19-year-old Man City goalkeeper. This season, Roebuck and Bardsley have kind of been sharing the first choice goalkeeping role at City. I think Roebuck's played 16 games and Bardsley 17, or the other way round. So I think goalkeeper was probably the one where everyone's saying, oh, who's it going to be? We thought Bardsley, we thought Telford, but Earps or Roebuck. Earps got the call this time. I think it's probably just about age. There's no doubt Roebuck is a wonderful goalkeeper, and I'm sure will go on to be England's #1 for many years to come. But but you know, when you go into a World Cup, the one position where you want your most experienced players, your most unflappable players, is in goal. And I think maybe Phil Neville just thought she wasn't ready for that, but definitely will be the more that she plays as City's number one. Farrah Williams, England's most capped player, male or female, 168 caps, 35 goals, an absolute legend of the women's game, of the game in football in general. I think she had an outside chance, and what's unfortunate is that she's 35 years old now. Maybe she'll be fit and available to be selected 2 years' time, Euros. But I think this could probably be her last chance for a World Cup. So it's a shame that we're probably not going to get to see Williams again on the World Cup stage, because she's such an incredible player and such an influential player. I think watching Farrah Williams at the top of her game is watching one of the very best women's players we've ever seen. But you know, we've got kind of people in that mould. The box-to-box midfielder can spray a pass. Chioma Ubogagu was also potentially expecting a call-up. I think since she switched from the US to England, maybe her performances just haven't quite been what she was hoping or what Neville was hoping. So again, I think just another one that maybe wasn't ready, but definitely does have a very, very strong future ahead with England. Gemma Bonner, another Man City centre-back. Bonner stepped up when Bright was out in the She Believes Cup, did a great job. So it's a shame she didn't make it this time. I think she was just pipped to it by Abby McManus. But again, Bonner's one with a definite England future. Siobhan Chamberlain. I think if you're talking England goalkeepers, you have to talk Siobhan Chamberlain. Has been in and around the England squad for many, many years. Man United goalkeeper, just won promotion with them. She's 35 now, and I think it was probably, you know, I'm taking Bardsley, I'm taking someone that experienced. I'm not going to take Chamberlain, but if she was picked, she would have done a wonderful job. And finally, Jordan Nobbs, England vice-captain, didn't make it because of injury. She's been out injured since I think November last year, so she's missed most of Arsenal's title-winning campaign, which is obviously pretty devastating. And the injuries just meant she's not fit, she's not available for selection, but still very young, and I'm sure will be back involved with England when she's physically ready. Okay, so those are the players. What do we think? What do we think of the 23 we've got there? To be honest, I think that's pretty much the squad that I would have picked. And maybe Gemma Bonner I might have thought about, or Izzy Christensen I might have put in instead of Kira Walsh. I'm not sure, but more or less those are the 23 players that I would be, in my humble opinion, that I would be taking to France. I think there's a great mix of experience. So we've got the players in there that have been to 4 World Cups, 3 World Cups, 2 World Cups. We've got players that have been to 1 last time around and now they're in a bit more senior role for their 2nd World Cup. Then we've got players that have, you know, played, Demi Stokes played 50 games, never played at a World Cup. We've got players that this is their 1st World Cup. I think 11 of those players have never been to a World Cup. So we've got a good mix of kind of experienced players, fresh, ready to go players, and that kind of balance is going to be so important. I think what we've also got is a mix of the different types of players, which again is really important. We've just kind of got something that you want in every area. We've got a bit of that, and I think that balance is really important and will do us really well. One thing I did want to pick up on actually is everyone's talking about, you know, Man City, how many Man City players are in this squad. 8 is the answer. That is, Man City have provided the highest number of players, definitely, for this World Cup. But if we're talking about Man City, great achievement. But if we're talking about that, we've got to be talking about Sunderland. There are 7 players in this squad that started their career and were raised by Sunderland women's team. Steph Horton, Carly Telford, Lucy Bronze, Demi Stokes, Jill Scott, Beth Mead, Lucy Staniforth. And look where those players are now. pretty awesome to see so many of those players start in Sunderland in the northeast and now be going to a World Cup. I think we owe, the team owes a lot to Sunderland, and I hope that they get back where they belong, which is in the top tier of women's football. I am a Georgie, but I support women's football. So what's next? Okay, so England have 2 warm-up games before they go out to France. They're playing Denmark in Warsaw on the 25th of May. They're playing New Zealand in Brighton on the 1st of June. World Cup kicks off on the 7th of June. England's first game is on the 9th of June against Scotland. Not a bad start. We're in Group D, Argentina, Japan, Scotland and us. We're outsiders, ranked 3rd in the world. Obviously the US are favourites to win it, but I think looking at who we've got going out, the attitude, the way we're going to prep, I think we've got a very good chance. Get to one of those warm-up games, give the girls a good send-off, get out to the World Cup if you can. Tickets are very, very reasonably priced. There's games all around France, across different areas of France. Watch it on TV. I am going to be going to that Brighton game and we'll be doing a match day vlog. I'm undecided, but I will hopefully be going, if a few things allow, out to the World Cup to see one of the England games. I will do a vlog for that. We'll do some more preview vlogs, looking at, what the team's going to be, how they're preparing. We look at some other squads going to the World Cup. And then throughout the World Cup, we'll vlog, we'll do some match previews, match reviews. And then I'll move into more of a kind of women's football general channel. There might be the odd bit of men's football in there. As I said, massive Newcastle United fan, can't resist a game whenever I get home. There might be the odd hockey, basketball match in there, but it's mainly going to be a women's football focus. We're going to get as much content out there as we can, talking about the great game and getting people talking about the great game. So subscribe below if you've liked what you've seen. I'll put links for the tickets to the warm-up games and the World Cup game just below. And see you next time. Oh, and most importantly, come on England.